Well, hey everybody.
Hello.
I'm Sally
Laura.
and
Barbara.
Barbara. And we're here at El Cajon Sewing Back. It's Thursday, so we're rambling again.
But we're not rambling today.
No, we're not rambling. No brambles today.
Yeah.
So, we have a few things to talk about today, not a whole lot. We're talking about, we got some patterns in, and we have some fabric that goes with the patterns, unusually enough. We don't necessarily always have that happen. So, where do you want to start, Laura?
Well, we're going to start with this 108. A berry and a pine.
Berry and pine, that sounds very Christmassy. Shall we
It
just go to
does.
camera 3?
It is Christmassy. So let's start with, we have a charm pack,
Zoom in a little.
which is by Moda, and I believe there's roughly 42 charm squares in here. They're 5 by 5 inches by 5 inches square.
We can take them out of that package.
Okay. And then we have this panel. Now the panel measures 58 by 72. And here's the pattern that goes with the panel to take the charm pack and make the border all the way around.
I did
the quilt.
pull 2 charm packs, but the panel takes
It takes two
2 charm packs.
Okay, so 2 charm
2
packs.
charm packs.
And a little bit of extra fabric for this interior.
Well, I brought the
border.
fabric out for you.
I know, we're gonna talk about it. We haven't talked about it yet. This one?
No,
Oh.
the other 2 fabrics.
Oh. I'm excited. Okay.
That's the accent fabric that the
Oh, these little
pattern
triangles,
talked
the
about.
triangles in here. Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if you could. We should put it under camera 1 because I don't think they can
Okay.
see it very well.
Put
The
that
pattern
here,
down
Barbara.
on there.
Oh, I see it, okay.
I had a hard time seeing it. I was like, what accents?
They're talking about accent fabric are these little triangles here.
What are those things called?
Prairie points?
Prairie points. Yeah,
Prairie points all the way
little
around.
prairie points. They call them accent fabrics.
Okay.
So those are the light green.
And then we have a darker green, not the darkest green, but a darker green.
Olive green.
Yeah, it is kind of an olive with a polka dot. So it's got the dark and light and white
It's magic dot.
magic dot.
It is called. Yeah, it's magic dot. I don't know what color it is.
So we have 2 magic dots. We have the light blue with the white polka dots, just white. And this one is a sage green with dark green, light tan, light green, and white dots. So that's to make this quilt. Now,
And it makes a
this makes a quilt that is 69
Right.
and a half by 81 and a half.
correct.
Of course, you could make that bigger if you made this inside strip bigger and added another strip on the outside of the borders. It's up to you. But the pattern, as written, makes a quilt that's roughly 70 by 82.
Correct.
Okay.
All right.
And then, to top it all off,
And that has nothing to do with that other fabric. With that cool.
I know, but this is the backing,
No. That's 108.
right? That
That's
they
gonna get
use,
cut into 3-yard pieces.
Right?
So why would they want 3 yards of that for a 87 yard?
Well,
They don't need 3 yards of that fabric to make for the backing of a.
no, they don't. But, like Barbara said, there's a lot of other stuff you can use this fabric for. Placemats. I think it feels really nice. I think it would
It's a
make
very
a nice
nice fabric.
dress.
So we were just, I wasn't really purporting that fabric for the backing of that quilt.
Okay.
I mean, they can use the backing of that. So we have 8 yards of this.
Oh,
So there's
Okay.
gonna be 2, so let's discuss our 108s.
okay.
So we carry 108 So that's gonna be a 108,
Bundle.
well, don't hide it.
Oh,
That's what we're talking about, like that. So, so we're gonna, cut this into, so because we only have 8 yards of this, we'll get 2 pieces, 3 yards long, which we tear our 108s.
correct?
Because it doesn't necessarily want to come off the bolt straight. I don't know.
Because it's folded
Obviously.
twice.
You can tell.
Mhm.
That's why.
You can tell it probably doesn't look straight on that end. I can see that the selvage it's
Has a
not.
Yeah, it's,
You can see it's not straight.
it's long.
So we'll tear 2 3-yard pieces to go in the 108 section, and then that should leave somewhat less than a 2-yard piece left when we're finished with the
Well, you
2
know what?
2-yard pieces.
That, okay, so that 2-yard piece that's left over can be the backing for
For
this.
one person.
For one person.
We have 6 patterns.
Well, then somebody better act fast. That's all I gotta say, I'm
Yeah.
done.
Otherwise, the pattern calls for
It doesn't.
5 yards of
But I
backing
don't
if
see
you
why you would
piece it.
need. I don't see why you would need 5 yards though. You need 5 yards to piece that.
Let's see, 69, is that out of?
But they want you to piece it vertically, specifically.
Vertically and.
Why do you need to piece it vertically
No, you
necessarily
should
instead
actually, because long arm is like horizontally, so you only have one roll. Because if you do vertically, it keeps on building, where this is building up and this is
And-
still flat and it's
And what I
not.
find if you have a vertical seam, that
It's-
seam is always taut and both sides of
Yeah.
it, no matter how square the quilt is, it will
It
sag.
is, yeah.
That seam is taut,
Yeah,
so it does make a
so
difference
this
in the
is
quilt.
good.
How I would
70 by
actually piece
82.
the back of this is I would piece it in 4 pieces. I would like make a 4 patch on the back rather than just one seam. I would put 4 seams and not like straight across. How I like to piece the back of a quilt would be, I'll draw it and then you can show it. So one side would be like that, and the other side might be like this. So the back of the quilt would look like that. Kinda, not exactly like that, but similarly to that. So it doesn't, so that you have,
But see, then you still have this long vertical seam in the middle that's problematic.
well, and you could do it, make it so that the seam doesn't necessarily have to go in the middle, but I like having the 4
Yeah.
pieces. Well, you can make the vertical seam go on the cross the other way then.
Yeah,
Doesn't have to be in the middle. Say that's not in the middle,
Yeah,
but anyway,
okay.
but in any case.
But it's very nice fabric and it feels really nice.
yeah. it
But I
does.
feel like there's a lot of waste if you're using a 108 for that.
Yeah, I always save my pieces, because sometimes
Well,
I
that's-
do a small quilt,
Yeah.
well, like the table topper, I use excess backing for that.
Well, that jewelry case I just made, that was all from cutting string
Yeah,
on quilts,
yeah,
the extras.
so long as you don't use, inexpensive backing, because you can see through it,
Yeah, and it wears differently too.
yeah. So,
Okay, we've got a couple more patterns to share with you. This one is the Cooper Kettle Quilt Company, and this one's called Garden Trellis. Okay, and
And
it,
which fabric does that one call for?
It calls for focal ombre, 2 1/3 yards of focal ombre. Then you have 2 yards of background and border, and roughly a yard of 3 different kinds of accent fabrics, a yard total.
And the one on the front is made, hand me the pattern for a second. The one on the front is using, Wild Blossoms ombre. I don't think we had that. Although we've had
Well, if you've got a
Wild
lot of
Blossom.
scraps, because that's a good pattern for that,
Yeah.
like large flowers,
Mm-hmm.
you could do that.
Except that
That would
you're
work
gonna get a
nicely.
completely different feel than that
Yeah.
though, because that's an ombre
Yeah,
that with your shading. That's why it pulled these, if you recall, this is Super Bloom. This is a fairly popular print, by the way, these two fabrics.
yeah.
But this is Super Bloom and these are ombre. If you recall, these are ombre prints
Mm-hmm. Not vertically, but on the length.
horizontally on the length.
Oh,
Because it
okay,
goes
that's right.
from-
Not this way. Yeah, that way.
I'll have
Horizontal.
to open it up.
Yeah. Isn't it?
Doesn't look like it.
It is though.
I know
Because it says,
someone said it was, but
it says gradients. Euphoria gradients.
yeah. Let's see if we can find out.
I thought they were gradients.
And I thought they were too, because I thought when we
Where are
looked, it
those
went
Super
from
Bloom?
yellow to blue.
Well,
to
maybe I'm
green.
thinking of those Super Bloom prints, but do you know where those are, Barbara?
No. Do you remember what color?
They look like this. I thought that's what these were.
Yeah, these, because with this one, I know which ones you're thinking about. I don't think that's this one.
I thought it was these. Sorry. Fire.
So this is going from yellow to blue to kind of a purple, but it's not.
It's not as much of a, it's more of a
Yeah.
color gradient than, rather than a,
In an ombre.
ombre gradient.
So I think you could still get this effect.
Back to one.
Yeah.
Back there. I
still
think you
think
could
you-
still get that effect with those flowers.
Yeah, because you have.
Especially if you had these
different
two
colors.
fabrics, with the light one and the dark one.
Yeah, you could definitely do that with the light over here
But
and
if
the
Barbara
dark
comes
over
back,
there.
if she finds Super Bloom, I don't know where the Super Bloom one went. I was thinking that was what I was picking up, but of course that's not what I did. So, but, of course, if we're looking for something, we're never gonna find it.
Alright, and then
Jordan probably bought all of them.
this one, which we're not complaining about that.
No, certainly not.
This one is very similar to the other one. Goes from oranges to yellows to light blues, then back to the orange and then the yellow and a pink. So you have a gradient, but not
an ombre.
not an ombre.
We do
Correct.
have quite a few ombres in the store. In fact, I think we just got an ombre in the store, if I might recall.
Sounds
Perhaps it
familiar.
does sound familiar, but obviously my brain is not quite functional.
Okay. So I'm going to move this one up.
Can you see if you can help Barbara find those Super Bloom ombres?
And then the other pattern that
Is
we
that
have,
fat? So that is for 12 fat quarters.
and I think this is a great pattern because you can really mix and match solids and prints together. Because what you're going to do is you're going to strip out your back quarters and then just sew the strips together and then cut them into blocks. That's what I'm guessing. But,
I don't know for sure. It's the pattern, but I think it's nice because it's a good way to use your fat quarters.
oh, yeah. And you could commit the same kind of effect that you have here, where you're going from yellow to orange to pink to blue. You could do the same thing here with this stripes.
That's
fabric.
true too.
You can make it rainbow coming down this way. I mean, there's a lot of light.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Heidi.
5, 6.
Heidi,
What?
neither one of us know what we're looking for.
Okay, well, why don't you talk to Laura for a minute? And I'll go see if I can find it.
What am I gonna talk to Laura about?
I don't know.
Just anything. Get anything new in the maintenance world that you want to share with the audience? Any
New
common
in the
problems?
maintenance world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Can't think of anything.
Do we have any new machines coming out?
The Onyx, what did we just order today? Onyx 30 or 35.
Yeah,
That's a new
something like
machine
that.
coming out.
We have a special event on July 7th and 8th. if you-
7th and 8th.
Yep.
7th will be a lot of fun. We're doing I don't know, I'd almost call it an open house type thing. It's gonna be a lecture demo, but we're gonna have people doing hands-on stuff during the lecture demo.
Nice.
And,
That's the one.
all different kinds of machines. We're gonna do, well, all different Husqvarna Viking machines. We're gonna do sergers,
Wait a minute, I hate pens, I hate them.
all sewing machines. So any level of machine you might wanna see, we have
So we're gonna have sample machines they can sew on?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, this is the ombre fabric we were talking about.
Yeah. She's bringing in the other one.
And we have the same type of fabric in dark. Now, this goes from blue to pink to orange to pink to yellow.
See what
The
See
other
what
one
she's
has-
got on the other camera. Oh, there, that's pretty good.
And
That's
so,
why I got confused. It's like the same, it's almost
Almost
very
the same.
similar to
Very
that other
similar.
fabric.
And then this is the same type of.
You could kind of mix it all together.
I'm on the little camera.
Good. I don't think I would. but you
There, that shows a lot better.
could. All right, and so
I'm
this
on the one
one.
over your shoulder now.
All right, so this one, same patterns, same gradient, but a different effect because here you have the dark background. Where on the light background, the tonal differences in the background don't show up as much as the tonal differences on the background in the dark fabric. But you still go from blue to orange, blue to pink to orange to pink to yellow.
But I was thinking that might be, that would,
That
those two
would-
pieces would be really neat in that. Don't you think that would
Yeah.
be nice in that pattern?
That would look
good.
nice in that pattern.
Yeah. So here's the pattern. And you could start off with the light background and then move into the
The
dark
dark
background.
Yeah, that's what I was
So
thinking.
instead of buying 2 yards by 1.25 yards of each, so instead of buying 2.5 yards, one, buy 1.25 yards of each.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. I think because if you did it all in just the dark background or the light background, you're really not gonna get the
You're not
gradient
gonna
effect.
get
Not
the
as much.
gradient
I
effect.
think
Yeah.
if you do both, I think it's gonna be really, really cool.
Yeah, you can do 2 columns with the light and 2 columns with the dark. Yeah. I
Or
think that
maybe
would be
even
good.
start like kinda at the bottom and kinda run it up
Run
at
up.
a triangle, you
Yeah.
know,
At a
kinda.
diagonal.
Thank you,
Is
that's.
that at a diagonal?
It's not, it's
Okay.
set straight.
Yeah, I would do it as a diagonal.
I don't know, I kinda like it set straight
Yeah.
like this. Let's looking at the
So
photos.
it's dark on one side, and so how would you guys? I think I'd follow the pattern, dark on the one side and then going lighter to the end. Yeah.
Or you could do the dark on the bottom and light on the top. Flip it. Yep, like that.
Well,
Well, that's not bad.
now I kind of feel like I want to make that pattern with that fabric. Don't you think it'd be pretty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, honey. Did I mess something up? Okay.
Another thing you could do is light on the outsides to dark in the middle, or vice versa, light in the middle to dark on the outside.
Yeah.
But I kinda like Barbara's idea of doing it this way.
Yeah, I do too. And I like the
Dark on-
idea
Mainly
of
because
light
to
on
me,
the
the sunlight at the top, as you're coming down, and then the earth
Yeah,
at
it
the
looks
bottom.
like it almost looks like you're looking out the window.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think. Yeah.
so you could use the same concept oriented this way, you would just,
yeah.
Well,
change
that
the
way
position
it's
of
just
the
that
blocks.
the sun is coming up, and so it's darker to the right.
No, I meant put the dark ones across the
Right, you
bottom
could.
here.
Yeah.
But with the dark to the right, that's the feeling I'm getting is the sun
Ah.
is rising, so the sun's coming up and it's darker
Unless you're
to
on
the
the
right.
east coast and it's a sunset.
Yeah, we have to flip it around for the west coast. There's the west coast.
Which window
The other
are you
way is
looking
the
out?
east coast.
Yeah.
Where are you looking? Where are you looking?
Where are you looking from?
I don't know.
Back to that 12 fat quarters one.
Yep,
Go to camera one, I think, on that.
okay.
Now, I don't think you have to use solids for that either.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
I think
it'd
that'd be
pretty
really
if you
pretty
mix,
in
mix different
mixed
prints.
different prints.
You know, calf
Or
facet, how do you say it?
scrappies.
Calf facet?
King Facet.
That's it,
Cave
yeah.
facet.
What does it say
What
on the
did
back
you
for
say?
the what?
Cave facet.
No, first.
Calf.
Facet.
What does it say for the back for?
It says just 12 fat quarters is a beginner-friendly pattern that is fast and easy to make. It is also a great way to showcase your favorite line of fabrics or use up those random fat quarters lying around. All seams are sewn with a 1/4-inch seam, and it is suggested that you use the following supplies: rotary cutter, iron, walking foot, sewing machine and thread, quilting ruler for cutting, pins or clips. This pattern will cover unique techniques needed to cut and piece the quilt top, but does not cover instructions on how to base the quilt it, and bind it.
Yeah.
But we can help you with that,
Yes, we did. Okay.
so.
Well, we were kind of
So it's
scanty on.
Cave facet?
I think that's how you say it. I think people always say cape.
Okay. Those prints mixed with some solids or
Would be really
reeds as
pretty on
solids
that,
would be very
yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or these large scale prints would be very nice
It could be
mixed with
interesting.
solids. You know,
Yep.
so, okay,
All right.
that's all I have.
Yep. That's all I have too. Well, we'll be back next week with a little bit more to babble about, or ramble.
Ramble.
Pardon me.
Or bramble about.
Yeah, we could be brambling.
I think we should bramble again.
Okay.
This drink's more refreshing.
All right. Yeah, that would good. We'll see if we can come up with another. What are those called? Those non-alcoholic drinks, mocktails.
Yes.
Come up with their mocktail. All right, guys. Well, have a great week.
Bye.
And we'll see you next Thursday. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.